It was a day that devastated the Sun Prairie community. July 10th, 2018, the city lost parts of its downtown, but the Barr family lost much more.
I spoke with Abby Barr about the hardest year of her life. Abby hopes sharing her struggle with grief will help others know that they aren't alone.
I've never had something like this to this level.
Thinking back to the events of that day, and I don't know how I survived that. Those first couple days, I had never, ever felt so lonely in my life. It didn't matter how many people were here or what people were doing for me. I was alone.
A very dear and amazing friend and person.
The Sun Prairie Fire Department lost a captain.
And Abby, we will be with you forever.
Abby Barr lost a husband.
I remember those couple days after looking at my future and being like, all I see is a big black hole. Almost safe to say that, kind of in a way, I also died that day. And ever since then, I'm trying to rebuild what my life is going to be from here on forward.
Grappling with holding on and letting go, Abby's courage has pushed her forward to rebuild her life, with grief lingering through the process. Abby's loss is shared with her 4-year-old daughters, Aubrey and Haley.
You're a cool chick.
Them not being able to know him makes me angry and just tears me apart. It's not fair. Because those are two of the most beautiful girls I have ever met in my life. And why they got robbed of a father, I'm not sure.
Sam, I am.
Mommy, what's his name?
Corey lives on in these beautiful little faces, one of Abby's biggest blessings.
Come on, Haley.
Her strength has grown from being a single mom.
His wife, Abby, is here.
And so has Corey's memory.
Round of applause for the marvelous.
I mean, for me, going to those things brought me comfort and made me feel closer to him.
She carries Corey with her everywhere, whether if it's playing with the girls, going to her favorite workout class, or having just a simple day to be sad.
You can see me smiling, but it doesn't mean that I don't have a huge hole in my heart that is there constantly. I realized that if they weren't here to get me out of bed in the morning, I'm not sure what my life would look like.
What is that?
Sam, I am. No, this one's Sam.
I strongly believe suffering in silence is not the way to go. If I can speak out to it and people can take away from that, then that will give me purpose and fulfillment.
It's not just Abby's loss, and that is the reason the twins and Abby are surrounded with incredible amounts of love and support.
I do not like green eggs and ham.
Myself that they will be loved. And they are so loved. And they are so lucky to have so many people in their life that love them as much as they do.
All right, say goodnight, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night,
So while he isn't here and they won't get to know him, they will still be able to know him through these other people.
I love you.
And they will still get so much love. It's going to be ridiculous.
I love you too.
Now, 1 year has passed, but the memories, of course, are still fresh in the minds of those who work as first responders.
Tonight, NBC 15's Amy Flugstop takes a look back at the past 365 days to find the lessons learned from that fateful day.
And we're going to pay honor to our fallen brother, Corey Barr. We are going to stand together, and we are going to build this fire department. We're going to make it better, stronger, and everlasting.
It's about staying together, and it's about moving forward, and that's what we're doing.
Moving forward,
but never forgetting.
We were doing a construction work and we hit a gas main.
Okay, so you hit a gas line?
I was at home. I was listening to the radio.
My wife and I are just about to watch some TV.
I just heard some hesitance in his voice.
So I called dispatch and it was busy.
I got in my car and I came down.
So I waited 30 seconds, I called him again, and it was still busy. I remember looking at my wife going, that's not good.
The day is still fresh in the minds of Fire Chief Christopher Garrison and Police Lieutenant Kevin Konopacki.
The fact that it was the first one in the city of Sun Prairie, it hits you hard.
It was the first time the city had ever lost a first responder in the line of duty.
We'd never had a situation to that magnitude.
As with any first, there's always an opportunity to learn.
Regardless of what happened, we have to learn from this, and we have to put stuff in place so that, God forbid, this never happens again, not only in our community, but then we can provide lessons learned throughout the United States. Even before that explosion, though, it was the training of the officers in the fire department, recognizing you never take these calls for granted.
Lieutenant Konopacki says first responders have always put an emphasis on training. But this event just proves you have to be ready for anything.
It's a risk that you take with the job. I mean, it just is. And I would never tell any first responder, look, I can't give you a 100% guarantee that you're never going to experience some trauma in this job, you know, that you're not going to get injured or, God forbid, you know, the possibility you could lose your life. But we can be smart, we can train, and we can avoid being reckless but effective.
Chief Garrison says his team has its own takeaways.
There's nothing that we could have done differently tactically, but the issue is after that, the effects of our people. Our people were working pretty robotically for about 24 hours straight, so our people were exhausted. Our people were wiped out, and we had to take care of them physically, and more than that, we had to take care of them mentally.
The fire department quickly implemented an employee assistance program. The Sun Prairie Fire Department teamed up with the Fitchburg Fire Department, where the firefighters could talk to fellow firefighters.
The way we run this fire department, it's very unique. And the most unique thing about it is the training that our volunteer paid-on-call staff do. They train hard and they train wicked.
The loss of life that night could have been much worse, making this a double-edged sword, especially for those in the firehouse.
You have a situation where your people performed so well, but we still lost a great man and a great firefighter. So you struggle with how well you did and you struggle with your loss.
While the grief will forever live in the hearts of the first responders, the true lesson learned was the power of community.
Thank you, Sun Prairie, because we all were in this together, and it's just going to make us stronger.
The memory is always there, and we always serve this community, and we serve it, and we move on and on our Corey. It's a reminder every day that we need to train. We need to be better. We never can stop being better at what we do.
In Sun Prairie, Amy Fluksopt, NBC 15 News.
Chief Garrison said since the explosion, about 25 more firefighters have joined the department's ranks, many volunteers sacrificing hours of their time every week. I spoke to one of those new volunteers about why they do it. Most Sun Prairie Fire Department volunteers don't just wear one hat.
I'm a probationary firefighter.
For Chris Reese, he's also a dad of 4, husband, business owner, and veteran.
Yeah.
Serving 8 years with the Army and National Guard.
I have a successful business, got a great family, but there was something that was missing.
Like many others living in the community, Reese says he was inspired by the bravery and sacrifice of Captain Corey Barr and the department.
That spurred me to want to learn more about, okay, what do these people do and why do they do it and why are they so invested? Chatted with Chief and he explained to me what the fire department was all about, and I realized very quickly it was a perfect fit.
And he is not the only one.
People came. We had a firefighter come back to the organization who was gone for 10 years. They're seeing what we do, and then they come and they get attached. They got the bug, and they stay with us.
With how the department looked out for Captain Barr's family, Reese said he has no doubt that's how they would treat his.
And you're going to serve side by side, so if things go bad, I know I can count on them to be there for my family.
Because of that,
I'm very proud.
Reese says he's in it for the long haul.
As long as I physically can do it, I'm going to stay part of the fire department.
We have team coverage, including the continued recovery efforts for people who used to live in the blast's epicenter. We're going to begin tonight with NBC 15's Morgan Wolf and tonight's remembrance ceremony.
1 year ago today, this city was broken. It was devastated as an explosion wrecked this portion of their downtown. It was a different story this evening. Everyone stood together in support and strength of one another.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Standing here today, the way life has played out would not have been my answer. By the time the sun set 1 year ago today, the unthinkable had happened, and my world was turned upside down. But not just mine. Hundreds and thousands of people experienced the most tragic event in Sun Prairie's history.
It's a 3-minute walk from the fire station to the site of the explosion. 3 minutes that memorialized a hero's 34 years of life.
The pain of the losses from last year are still sharp in our memories.
Captain Corey Barr gave the ultimate sacrifice to save people in his community.
Corey did something that nobody could do. He brought a community together.
Something Jen and Jeff Streeter will never forget.
To feel that in the moment has been really meaningful.
People still feel that impact, and it's really great to see all of our neighbors out here.
More than 100 people showing up for Abby.
I'd like to close with saying thank you to my Tootsie Pop. Your impact on the community and your fellow first responders family has been remarkable. And because of you, I have learned what it means to be selfless, brave, strong, courageous, and how to love unconditionally. And these are all things I will be instilling in our two beautiful girls.
Standing together in the street, signifying a strength they will share forever. Sunshine Place in Sun Prairie told me that since that explosion, they've worked with over 100 individuals, including John, like you mentioned, Maria Hernandez. She actually just lived 1 block away from us now, like you mentioned, on the corner of Main and Columbus. And all of those people's lives were rocked by that explosion.
Okay.
1 year later.
Just like a really fast thing.
It's still hard for Maria Hernandez to think back to July 10th, 2018.
I guess I was surprised. Sorry. I didn't think something like that could happen, like to anybody or like us.
But the unthinkable did happen.
A friend called and said, "Do you smell gas?"
Hernandez didn't know that would be the last time she'd live in her apartment, leaving behind a home
Show your farm.
full of memories.
He was actually born there. I had him in the apartment.
Hopping from relatives to a motel,
I guess kind of homeless for a couple weeks.
Hernandez found a new home
Push the button.
with the support of Sunshine Place.
The biggest question was, can you help? And our answer to that was yes.
The Community Resource Center worked with 51 families. 35 were displaced. They helped get families into new homes with the resources they needed. They also recommended where the money from the Sun Prairie Disaster Relief Fund should go.
It's been an emotional time here. I often mention how our families are resilient, and they're powerful, and they're strong, and they did get back on their feet.
Families like the Hernandezes received help with their security deposit, rent, and things like clothes and bedding. Now, their new home is a fresh start.
Be happy. There's probably better things to come.
Sunshine Place currently has a campaign going called #ActsOfKindnessSP. They're hoping to use the money raised to expand their facilities so they can serve even more families here in the Sun Prairie community. Reporting live in Sun Prairie tonight, Isabel Lawrence, NBC 15 News.